Welcome to the Truth Podcast. My name is Hany Rambod. I'm here with my co-host Dave, and we're here to do a Q&A. We're going to sit down, go over 7 questions that we got this week that we want to go over. How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. This is going to be fun because this is our awesome. First Q&A.
First Q&A, 7 hot take questions.
Sure.
You want to get into it?
Let's do it, brother.
All right. Number 1. This one's for the weight gaining crew because I know a lot of people for the solutions will drink a weight gaining shake. Where do they strategically place a weight gainer in their day? So obviously food has the best effect, right? Most anabolic effect, but where does a weight gainer, high quality weight gainer fall into that in their day?
So normally you're going in with post-workout, again, carbs. You got most weight gainers don't go super high in fat. Some do, but I would stay away from those. You have your carbs. So that's going to be your post-workout. Then in the morning, whether it's first meal or in between meals, and then a little bit later in the evening time. So between 2 to 3 meals a day, but again, not doing them for every single meal, but to help augment the diet and help supplement with extra calories. And normally the weight gainers are anywhere from 900 to 1500 calories. You don't take all of that in at once, guys. That's not what you do. What you do is you break it up to the macros that you're looking for. That's what I recommend.
Okay, perfect. To switch gears, kind of, keto-based diets have been very, very popular over the last 10, 15 years. Do you issue keto-based diets on prep?
Wow, that's actually a really good question. Yes and no. Okay, so the yes part of it is, even when I was competing back in the day, okay, back 100 years ago, when there was
I thought you were 32.
Yeah. I feel like 132. What I used to do is I would start off my diets, my personal diets, with a 2 to 4 week keto period, and I call that like a washout period. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to kind of create some type of program where you're able to eat and cut out the shit. And you're trying to basically get your cravings under control. And that during that washout period, okay, that clean out period where you're going from, hey, I'm eating whatever I want to, I got to try to create structure. Ketogenic diets really helped because what I would do is go keto, get the cravings down, and then go into a clean, cyclical bodybuilding type diet, and then cycle my carbs and go into it. And I have done that in the past with athletes, but most of the time I don't need to because they're in much better shape than I was because I would only compete like once every couple of years. And, or it would just, again, this was me. I was natural, the whole situation. So that's the way I would do it. And I'd like to do that a little bit earlier, like at 16 or 18 weeks out, and then do that for 2 to 4 weeks and then go into a prep. Now for clients, national level guys that are getting ready to try to get their pro card, guys that are getting ready to try to qualify for, the Olympia or get on the Olympia stage, it's not needed. So a lot of people have told me, and I had this conversation with Dave Palumbo before, where Dave says, oh yeah, keto. But if I got a guy who can do 300 grams of carbs and get striated glutes, then why do I need to go keto? But I know that it's going to be a detriment to the loss of the 3D physique that I'm looking to build, where you want glycogen-rich muscle fibers. So what you're trying to do is go, okay, well, let's not use a one-size-fits-all tool and go into a prep with something that may end up looking better if you can use carbohydrates to some degree. So I think that ketogenic works really, really well for those that are closer to like a sedentary lifestyle. For those that have issues with cravings, I feel like people who want to eat less often because of the situation they have with their work schedule, I think that there's things like, fasting, intermittent fasting that you can also add in. But all in all, do I like it for prep? No, I don't feel that it conducive of a good result.
So you've worked obviously with the best bodies in the world. A keto body, does that lose a lot of fullness?
You do lose
a ton?
Yes.
Does the body look different?
It does, especially if you go for a long time. Anybody who's ever dieted will tell you that once you start getting the glycogen stores low, what's going to happen is you're going to get leaner because otherwise you're just burning the glycogen. But once you get to the point where you're starting to burn more body fat, you're going to end up getting a leaner look. Now, there's going to be a balancing act between trying to lean out and flattening out. But if you get too flat, like flat. I'm talking about flat, like, man, I didn't look good until like 2 days after the show flat. Then it's really bad, right? Yeah. Because then you're like, oh man, you know, the fuck up fairy showed up and was definitely, that was not good. So what happens is you really need to kind of balance out the difference between staying full to a degree and continuously getting leaner. So that is something that a lot of coaches, when they start dealing with bigger guys, have a problem with, because you can't use cookie cutter methods, because you have to really understand where the key points are, and you have to get a topographical map to be able to understand what a person's body is getting ready to do, and you have to get through that, just like the fog of war, I call it.
How, just in the regards of what you just said, how do you know if someone...
By the way, which question is this? What number is this?
This is 2A.
Jesus Christ, bro.
This is 2A. How long does it take you, if you're working with someone brand new, how long does it take you to typically figure out their body?
Oh, it could be literally a couple of weeks, or it could be a couple of shows. I mean, there's major differences. Absolutely. I wish that I could say, hey, look, I'll learn your body in 2 weeks or your money back, but it doesn't work that way. It's not. It's very, very typical to take a show or two to really understand someone's body. I've gotten, I don't want to say lucky, but I've gotten to the point where I've had people who are very good listeners and they have a high amount of coachability. So what happens with those people is that I end up having success because they are willing to execute at a very high level. So you tell them to eat shit, they'll ask you how many ounces, right? And those are the people you want. It's the ones that are really difficult are the ones that are your buddy that you work with that is basically doing some kind of diet and you're trying to help them for free, and then they don't listen.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody like that. Those kinds of people. Those are the hard ones, you know?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cheat meals. We talked a little bit about it so far, but cheat meals, what's your favorite, not your personal, but an favorite to issue somebody, and when do you like to issue them?
So I like to issue cheat meals, you know, and we're talking about prep, right?
Yeah, prep.
Yeah, so if you're prepping for a contest or a photo shoot or whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
So what I do is when I decide somebody it looks really flat or they're starting to lose too much weight and we're adding in a cheat meal, I do two things. Number one, I started the strategy many, many years ago about putting a cheat meal in the day before your weakest body part. So if you're working on your chest and your chest just can't get 3D, it's one of those things where it doesn't get round and full. What I do is I focus on making sure that cheat meal goes in the night before that workout. So if you're train chest on Monday, then Sunday night you're getting the cheat meal.